The Man Who Wasn't Missing. When Harold Pimpleton walked through the front door carrying a bag of groceries, his wife screamed. Not out of relief, but terror. Harold had been missing for 5 years, declared legally dead. Yet there he was, smiling faintly, his shoes wet, his shirt the same faded plaid he had worn the night he vanished. "Where's the milk?" Harold asked, his voice low, eyes fixed on Marjorie. She backed into the counter. He looked exactly the same. No gray hairs, no wrinkles, as if time itself had spared him. The air smelled of pine sap and wet stone. The 5 Pimpleton children returned quickly after Marjorie's trembling call. They froze in the doorway when they saw their father seated at the table, calmly buttering bread, as though nothing had happened. "Dad?" Kevin whispered. "Don't dad me like I've been gone for years," Harold said flatly. "I just went to the store." Long line silence filled the room. The clock ticked loudly. Then Marjorie, her face pale, said, "Children, your father is home." Something unspoken passed between them. Fear, confusion, and the decision to pretend. At dinner, Harold chewed noisily while the others stared. "So," he said, "what did I miss? Anything on the news?" Donna, the youngest, swallowed. "There was a pandemic." Harold frowned. "Masks? Like a masquerade?" "Yes," Marjorie cut in quickly. "And I graduated college," Donna added, voice trembling. "Finally," Harold said, eyes narrowing. They forced themselves to laugh. The sound rang hollow. In the following days, Harold moved about the house as if nothing had changed. He repaired the broken fence, mowed the lawn, and watched television. Old programs long canceled. He never once mentioned where he had been. But at night, Marjorie heard him humming unfamiliar songs, in a language that made her skin crawl. The children noticed how he avoided mirrors, how he never touched calendars. Once, Kevin found him in the dark basement, whispering to the walls. When Kevin confronted him, "Where were you, Dad?" Harold's lips curled. "I told you. I went to the store." "For 5 years?" Kevin hissed. "It was a long line," Harold said, eyes glassy, voice not his own. Kevin nearly screamed, but Harold's stare froze him in place. Whispers spread. Mrs. Tattlebaum peered out her curtains, crossing herself when she saw Harold mowing the lawn. "He shouldn't be here," she muttered to Marjorie. "We buried him in our hearts." "He's back," Marjorie said stiffly, "and that's all that matters." But in her chest, she felt only dread. It happened one night as Harold sat in his recliner. He turned to Marjorie and muttered, "They never let me sit like this on the ship." "The ship?" she asked, voice cracking. "The trip," he corrected quickly. "Took the long way home." But his eyes glowed faintly green before the light in the room flickered out. The children gathered in the garage. "He's not Dad," Donna whispered. "Maybe he's a copy," Kevin said, shivering. "Or a thing wearing him like a suit," Martha added. Tim swallowed hard. "What if he came back, because they're not done with us yet?" None of them disagreed. Yet when Harold called from the kitchen, "Kids, dessert's ready," they went inside, and smiled, and played along. Weeks passed. Strange things bled into their lives. Harold's woodworking in the basement was not wood at all, but some humming construct of metal and bone. At night, the walls pulsed faintly, as though alive. When asked, Harold only smiled. Projects. For the family, the house grew colder. Shadows stretched wrong. Sometimes Donna swore she heard voices echoing under the floor, begging in a language she didn't know. Still, they played along. Because whatever Harold was, they feared what might happen if they stopped. At Thanksgiving, Harold raised his glass. His smile was too wide. His teeth looked too sharp. "To family," he said. "To home. And to the harvest to come." They clinked glasses, their hands trembling. For a moment, Donna thought she saw dozens of pale fingers pressing against the kitchen window from outside. But when she looked again, there was only darkness. Years later, Harold finally died in his recliner, a faint smile on his lips. The family sighed with relief, until the coroner made his discovery. Harold's heart was not human. It ticked like a clock, and inside its chambers were carved tiny, writhing symbols no one could translate. The family said nothing. They buried him quickly, quietly, without neighbors or friends. But at night, when the wind howled through the cracks in the house, Marjorie swore she heard Harold's voice whispering from the basement. "Just went to the store. Be right back."